Hey, Dawn here. Here is my attempt to show you how I make boho beads. There's two ways to make the bodies. I like to use pieces of bamboo skewer and wire. You can also use the hollow balloon sticks that you can buy like in a bunch at Walmart. So I'll show you both ways. They both work. There's a third way. I didn't like it at all. And then you'll see numerous other ways that people have tried to do this, and so you'll just find your own way to do it. But this is what I like best, what works for me. So I like to use a bamboo skewer. You could use a stick, whatever you've got to get creative. I've got some 20 gauge wire. That's just kind of the way I like to make, the body with. And as you can see, this was black wire. It was literally just the wire that I had. I think it's some of that really it's some of that really inexpensive coated beading wire. I think I have some red and purple also. But I like this silver, so now that I've used up all of that stuff, I've got some silver I'm going to use. I've also got the cheapest bead caps that you can buy. There really is no reason to buy quality for this, so the hoarder in me went quantity. So got some on Amazon, caught some on at Hobby Lobby, wherever you can find them. Oh, I've seen them at everywhere except Michael's. Didn't find them at Michael's, but I found them at Walmart. So here we go. So when you make the body, we've got to leave some on the end here because that's where our bead and our end cap and our loop are going to be. So we've got end cap, bead, and loop. So we need that wire there to make that. So with boho beads, it's not about perfection. It's about the funk and creativity that go into them, which appeals to me. So anyway, I just take a stick and I kind of look at the end and go, okay, this is how much I need here. And I've just kind of by experience have figured out, but leave a bunch, and then if you need to cut off some, cut it off, no biggie. So we're going to give it a couple tight twists up here at the end, really to stabilize it. Your wire kind of comes off to one side. You can just kind of bend it over to the middle. You could use your pliers if you want. There's really no right or wrong way. And actually, I mean, it's not that big a deal wherever it ends up. So I don't fuss about that too much. I don't even get necessarily end caps that match because I like the I don't know, the mutsy putsy look, I guess. So I've got an end cap on there. I went ahead and picked out some beads ahead of time. I've just got some glass beads. I really like to use vintage recycled costume jewelry beads that I've taken apart, which, yes, I got obsessive about that one time too. So this is going to be a little bit long, so I'm going to cut it off a little just because, there we go. And then I'm going to just take my round nose needle pliers, but you just use whatever you got. I just happen to have these and could actually find them. So I'm just going to make a loop, and I like to get mine secure against the bead. Now it's all going to still be floppy, so you're like, that doesn't matter. That's good. It's all held on there. So I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to wrap this around the middle a little. Sometimes I get crazy, wrap it more, and then I'm going to go do the same thing to the other end. Cut it down a little farther, doesn't matter. And I cut it off. There we go. Probably a little too long. Here we go. And I'm going to grab another end cap. I don't know. Here we go. This will work. And you can make your beads match. You can make them not match. Really no right or wrong way. I picked out 2 clear beads. As you can see, they don't match, and I'm good with that. This is just I have a 1,000 pounds of glass beads that I bought from Fire Mountain Gems one time. Years ago, I was making beaded lanyards at work. Okay, so I have a surplus of those. So I'm just going to roll this down again. See, it's still a little loose. I try to make it as snug as I can. Got a little extra wire there. I'm just going to keep rolling. It looks fine. It lends to the flavor of, a boho bead. So there again, it's kind of all a little bent, a little off kilter, but when we get done, it'll be fine. So that's one way to make them. I'm not going to show you this way. You can find it on YouTube because I really don't like this way. So I'm not going to waste your time. So I'm going to make an executive decision. Have a drink of my Diet Pepsi and push onwards. Okay, now we're going to start adding the body of our bead. And so literally just go get your grubby bits of leftover yarn, crappy lace that you would never use on anything else because it's old and icky, some fabric because I like the colors of it. Oh, some really icky old, not icky, but some old lace I would never use for anything else. Some appliques off a jacket that I cut off one time. I got some bits of leftover ribbon. Here's a little piece of pink ribbon. Oh, this will look kind of cool, this ribbon. And here's a little piece of silk fabric sample. And here's some woven silk fabric samples. I have found they look pretty funky too, so I like to use even like the ends where you've got the cardboard from the sample and the tape that you can't get off. You can just cut that and use it. It'll twist and funk up just fine. Oh, here's a bit of a polyester scarf that I would never wear in this lifetime again. Not that it's not pretty, but I'm not at a scarf wearing phase of life. Here's a little bit of ribbon. Got some paper words over here. I'll save those. I like to stick a word on them. Like there's just some little words I've ripped out of a vintage children's book. I like the size of them. Like here's a phrase, pick wild. So I think that will go on my bead today. I've also took some Tim Holtz tissue paper, and I put a coat of sparkle glaze on it just to give it some strength. I've also done that with my words. I put a coat of sparkle glaze on them just to give them some strength, because when you're twisting them into a bead they can tear, so this will make them a little stronger and a little more durable. You don't have to put words. I saw someone putting words and I liked the words, so that's where we go. I just watched literally, guys, a bunch of YouTube videos and tried a few things and kind of found what I liked and went from there. So to start, let's see See, this has the tape on it still. Pull off the little paper if I can, but even we could just leave it, wouldn't hurt anything. And I'm going to just cut off this piece, and I like to blend as much texture and variety as I can in my beads. So I kind of go opposite, opposite, opposite rather than coordinate, coordinate, coordinate. But that's just me. You will develop your own style. So it's pretty skinny. So right now I'm just mainly, trying to build up some bulk in the middle of the bead. I'm going to back up here a little bit. I also like to use, so this tacky glue works pretty good for me. Other people have said this fabric fusion works good, but honestly the tacky glue works good enough for me, so I haven't even opened the fabric fusion glue yet, which I bought to do these. So that piece feels a little stiff, so I'm going to cut it off. And it went flying goodness knows where. So you could wrap this flat if you want, but I like the twisted funkiness, and so I'm just going to start wrapping it around there. You can put some glue on there if you want, but really if you just wrap it tight enough, it will hold itself. So I'm going to go up here under the bead cap, and as I add some fabric there, it's going to start stabilizing that bead cap. And let's see, I want to bring this down here a little bit. You don't need to worry about covering the whole thing. It's kind of the little pieces of here and there that really add to this. Let's see. I wanted to use some of this scratchy old purple. I like the purple, but the lace is icky and I would never use it on anything. So I'm going to just wad some of that on there. I'm going to kind of roll it down there. I hope you can see this. I'll add enough of that there. I'm going to just cut it off there. And what I'm doing is mumbling to myself, and as I add something on, I'm just securing the end below it. Again, you can add glue if you want to these, but I've just done it and it works. I'm just going to add a wad of some of that chenille yarn there, little piece that I had there, and I hope this is on camera and you can see it. Let's see what next. I thought I would just do this with whatever's in front of me, so I'm not really thinking about, oh my god, well, it looks good, oh, that's gonna look awful. Here's some, this material has some like bronzy metallic in it, and I like that, so it's a little too wide, so I'm just going to rip it. See, like this part with the words, I'm actually going to use that because that's pretty cool. So you really can just use your leftover scraps from whatever you have. I like these words. Not that you're necessarily going to be able to read them. That's not the point. I just like the texture of a little bit of text in there. It may show, it may not show. I turn that around so you can see a little bit of it, and it may end up getting covered. I don't know. So there we go. And how much do you put on? However much you like. That's when it's done is when you go, oh, it's done. Here's a little piece of cord. I don't know if it's like a cord out of like a sweatshirt or something. I don't know. But I thought, well, I'm going to put that on there. I know, I need a little something brighter. I'm not going to use that. Making an executive decision. I like this ribbon I got one time in some Happy Mail, probably like in 2013, and I'm still using it because she sent me a big delicious ball. So I'm just gonna go with that. Really, you're just honking it on there. You're not, there's no talent to this. You just, and you're like, well, it's not completely covering it, and that's part of the attraction and texture and whatever you like. I'm just babbling. Okay, we're gonna go there. There, I added a little bright to that. I like that. This ribbon might be cool, might not. Let's try a little piece of this, kind of sheer filmy. And let's go put that there. And I'm just gonna, because we're gonna cover, we're gonna wire this all down when we're done. So if some is sticky now, whatever, it won't matter. It's not going to be, oh yeah, I like that. It's not going to be perfect. That's not the goal. It's a beatniky funky bowl. A beatniky funky bead. How's that? Just me and the dogs today, so I haven't talked much. Okay, so I'm just kind of wadding that under and working it under the cap of the bead. And I might just put a little glue on this and tack it down, and how much glue? However much it needs. I kind of hold it on for a minute till it wants to stay. That bead is looking like it's got some delicious funkability to it. I'm liking that. I wasn't too sure at first. Look at this. This might be pretty on there. What do you think? Yeah, it's too light. Some white might be pretty on there. That would be kind of wide, so I would just take it and twist it up. Maybe while this is drying, let's see if it'll dry. Yeah, it's sticking pretty good. I'm going to lay that down. I'm not sure if this will rip. Let's see. Nope. Yep. And you go, oh my God. Look at all that frayed deliciousness. That's just going to lend to the character of your bead. So rather than trim that all off, just work it into your bead. It might still be a little wide, so I'm going to twist it up because I like the twisty, ropey look. So what I'm looking at here is I still want to add some bulk under that bead cap. So I think I'm going to try and wrap this under there, which will secure my, hopefully will secure my lace. And well, that's going to be too big. Yeah, let's see. Now that I ripped it, let's just go down the other side. I just need a thinner piece, I think. I don't know. I just keep trying things till something works. And let's see. So it went from being really dark to being really light. That didn't stick after all. I'm going to stick some more glue under it. And you can put lots of glue. You can put whatever glue you need on there. And you know, at first your beads might be kind of soft. You want to make them, you know, firmer, but at first they might be kind of soft and poofy. That's okay. Just wind some more on them, and then the wire is going to take care of firming it up for you. So don't worry about that. Like my friend Elda, she tends to make softer, poofy ones, and that's just her style. But then when she adds the wire, they're pretty. So let's see if that's going to stay now, because I want to go up here and play with this end cap. So I'm going to try and wind this under my bead cap, which it's going to go now. Seeing it's just giving it some body and filling it up under that bead cap there. And then I just kind of walk it up. I think that end has enough on it. I'm going to try and put my words on here. Where are they? Yes, I like this Pick Wild. Pick Wild. And where do you put it? Wherever you want. They kind of look cool going up and down, but you could put them around. I just kind of played with it till I, you know, found what I liked. So I was going to put a little glue on the back of that. Oh, okay, come on there. See, real precise, fussy knot. I dabble in sarcasm, so I apologize. I'm going to kind of stick it on that way, because I'm going to try and glue down this end a little bit here. So I'm just going to hold it on there for a second. And how long I hold it on there is till it stays. Even if it just stays a little bit, it's good enough till you wire it. Let's see what we got. Kind of a looseness going on over here. I'm just going to add a Spolusia glue. Stick it down. Wipe off my finger. Have a drink of Diet Pepsi. And that's kind of what we're looking at here so far. So I'm going to stop here, and you know, now I've got it pretty light. I really want some dark back in there. So what I might do is just use some of this yarn here. And if I just take a couple strands of it, see, this is kind of good right here. I got a couple strands. I'm going to wonk it on there. How's that? It's a very technical term, wonk it. I'm going to cut these ends off, and I'll probably need about that much. So let's see. So I went with these two strands because there's some black and there's some red. So it adds a kind of a bit of two colors. And every bead for me doesn't turn out the same, which is kind of my goal. Okay, so I might go down here and do a little bit. Yep, I like that right there. And it's a little thicker at this end, a little thinner at this end. It doesn't matter. I'm going to cut it off, throw a little glue on it. You can just mush your glue in, it'll all go away. and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I decided I wanted to finish up my bead with some 24 gauge copper wire. I don't know if it's really copper or just copper colored. Doesn't matter. It was cheap. I like the copper color. And I was playing around with different beads that I have. I like to take old vintage costume necklaces, you know, the uglier the better, and take them apart and repurpose the beads. Kind of gives them a new life rather than, you know, going to the Goodwill junk bin. But I decided one color was making my bead too blah for me. So I got out my glass beads, and I'm just going to, I like variety, so I'm just going to thread on a bunch of colors that are going to kind of spice my bead up a little bit. Let's see. And, you know, they can be bigger, they can be littler, it doesn't matter. You can actually take quite a big bead and honk it on there, and it looks good when you're done. So I'm just kind of like looking for shells on the beach. Looking for, like, there I was looking for like a red. Got some red and some blue and some green on there. And I don't know. Here's another green one. Here's another little bluish one. And I just thread a bunch on there. I might not use them all, but it's easier to thread them on ahead of time. Let's see. Here's kind of a light one. Okay, so I got a bunch of beads on there. I think I'm going to add a couple more because that bead's on the big side and I like to beat it up. Again, I'm not really paying any attention to color combinations. I'm just finding a little bead and going, oh, I like that. Kind of like impulse buying on Ally. Oh, I like that. Okay. There, I might stop there. I have an idea. What do I got on there? 2, 4, 6, 8. I got about 10 beads. That's probably going to be enough. So they're going to slide down on your wire. It's going to feel real freaky and it'll be fine. So you want to start in the middle of the bead, and I like to wrap it around. Leave a tail hanging out because that's where you're going to secure it with. And I just start throwing my beads in and not wrapping it in any particular precise way, just distributing my beads. Sometimes they get all the way around, sometimes they get a little one-sided. I like to go up here and wrap it a little bit under the bead cap. See, it's all nice and sturdy now. And then I like that kind of braided wire look, you know, crossing. So you'll see mine crossing a lot. Haven't got any more beads on there, so let's grab some beads. Let's go put one on the back there. And let's put one there. And I don't know how well you can see this, but it's really no talent. Let's throw another bead on there. And, you might, and there's really how much wire? However much you like. And I'm going to go up here and kind of clean up this bead cap area a little bit with my wire. You can, you know, the wire is what you can use to it's kind of like the girdle on your bead. You can suck everything in that you need, you know, sucked in and you don't want to show. Okay, I got like 3 more beads and I think they're all going to go on there because the more beads the merrier. Okay, and I like a piece of wire there. And because I want to put a bead down here, I'm just going to drop my wire down there, and I'm just lacing it on really firmly. That's what is going to give your body, or your bead, the body that it needs to hold together. And let's see if we can get that somewhere else. And we got a little bead conference going on back here, but that's okay. Maybe I won't use that last one. Okay, so I'm getting to about the end of it. Oh, how about we use not our good paper scissors, but our needle nose pliers. Okay. I'm just going to take the ends and twist them really good. And it's not looking yet like what I want it to look like. So if it's not looking like what you want, it's not done. I'm going to cut these ends. I don't want them in my beads though. I'm going to cut these ends off, or try to use the right side of my pliers. There. And just take that end and shove it down in. Here you go. Okay. Now, I like the addition of the silver wire, but that's just me. So you might think, there's a lot of wire on there already, but I want some more. Let's see, that's thicker. I'm thinking my body was probably a 20 gauge. This is probably, what, a 24, 26. And this silver looks to feel like about a 22, I think. But again, just use whatever you got. And I like the addition of the silver, so I think you'll usually see some silver on my beads. It just kind of finishes it up. And again, you know, boho beads may not be for you, but I like mixed media, and that's kind of where I live, so anytime I see a new process, I gotta go try it. And while I'm babbling, I'm just winding it on. I'm not looking and coordinating really. I'm going to cut that off. And let's see if we can take those two. And I'm just cinching it down so my bead feels good and snug. Yours might be looser, that's okay. And see, I got a bunch of twists there now. I'm going to cut that off. Well, in fact, you know what you could do if you want. You could either leave these two ends separate and make little curly cues. Like, okay, I'm just going to do this. You can make little curly cues out of your wire and just smush them down in a way that pleases you. And you know what to do? Make your beads, leave them, go away, come back and look at them. Because once you've made them, you can't really tell anything. And they come back later and they look good. Okay, it's a little, you know, I'm just going to kind of work it around. It's never going to be perfect, and that's okay. But that's how that bead turned out. And right now I don't care for it too much, but when I go away and come back and look at it, I know I'll like it better. I don't know why that is. I'm just going to fuss with that end a little bit. You know, now what I did for some of my Christmas stuff, you'll have to forgive me, is I took my boho beads and I bent out the wire earring things and just put them on the ends and made very funky Christmas ornaments out of them. So that bead's a little loose. It's okay. Not going anywhere. I kind of like that. If you don't want to do that, you can just cut it short and there again bend it in so that the ends aren't sticking out. Just push it into your fabric. Got a little poof there like that. But basically that's a boho bead. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks. Bye.